Hello, everyone, and welcome to my review of The Rise of Skywalker. Now, I'm going to start this review by saying if you like the movie, great. Good for you. Me, personally, I didn't like it. Honestly, there were so many things that were wrong with it. Was it all bad? No. I'm not going to lie. It wasn't all bad. There were some good things about it. But for the most part, it it was a shit show. So without further ado, let's get right into it. What I thought was good. The effects were pretty good. They were top notch. They've been that way since Force Awakens, and they haven't really changed that much. So they were on point. Uh, there were some funny parts. Maybe there's like a part here and there that I either smirked or blew something out of my nose. There's only I think one part that I actually kind of laughed. It was with C-3PO. And beyond that, the jokes just kind of didn't land. They were they bombed, kind of like this movie in China. So yeah, that's about it. That's about all I thought that was good. Now the bad, there are a lot of things. This movie was just constantly ass pulling. They were pulling moves and powers out of their ass just to get out of a sticky situation, and it felt so cheap, you know. Because if there is no conflict, if the hero is not struggling in any way, and they can just Mary Sue their way out of every situation, you're not gonna identify with them. You're just gonna be like, okay, that's really boring. It's lazy writing. They were depending so much on old characters, on nostalgia, and maybe some Easter eggs here and there, and just kind of trying to dress the turd in a beautiful way, but it's still a turd. They J.J. Abrams spent a lot of time retconning the last Jedi, the last Jedi, but he forgot to tell a story basically because he spent so much time giving the middle finger to Ryan Johnson that by the end of it he's like, oh shit, I was supposed to be doing a story. Here, right, just grab these two lightsabers and kill Palpatine with his own powers. What the fuck is that? If it was rushed, it definitely felt rushed. Like even Disney was in a rush to just be like, just finish this crap so we can get these people off our backs. But let's be honest, no one's gonna forget this. Uh, there were twists that I wasn't even expecting. Like for example, Hux being a spy for the rebellion. Like what? I don't. I guess it's because plot, but the part that I'm referring to is when Finn, Chewbacca, and Poe are about to be executed. Hux comes along with the stormtroopers and he says, "I want to do it myself," and then he turns on the stormtroopers and he's like, "I'm the spy." When the hell did they say that he was a spy or even allude to him being a spy? What else? Rey being a Palpatine. Why? Who got their cheeks clapped by Palpatine that she's his granddaughter? You know, because the first part that you see this is when uh they capture Chewbacca while they're looking for the Wayfinder, I think, and she uses the Force to try to bring back the ship that has Chewbacca. Apparently, it wasn't that one, and Kylo Ren has already appeared, and he uses his Force to try to make it go, and then he pushes her to her limits, and then she throws lightning and destroys the ship. She thinks she kills Chewbacca, but he wasn't in it. And then she just looks at her hand and she's like, "Oh my god, I can shoot lightning." She didn't say that, but I probably that's what she was thinking. And I'm just sitting there going like, "What? What? Why?" I mean, I read the leaks and they were just proven to be true. But I was like, I think I had some glimmer of hope that maybe something would be off, but no, it wasn't. It was just another one of those Mary Sue moments, that they have been saying Ray is, and that's what makes her such an unrelatable character because no one is perfect, and the way that we identify with characters is because of their flaws. If the character is flawed, or they share flaws that you have yourself, then you're like, oh, I see myself in this character. I hope they win. I hope they they die or something. But it was the character's perfect. You're like, well, I can't be that. I'm not that. I can't relate, and therefore they become boring. What else? Leia's death. There was only one person that showed any emotion towards her death, and that was Chewbacca. Everyone else is like, damn, she died, and that's it. But Chewbacca like broke down. Like that was, I think, the most emotion I saw in the whole movie was Chewbacca breaking down because Leia died, and her death was anticlimactic. She just, I guess she had a bad feeling, went to rest, maybe did some force projection. No, sorry, not force projection, but like just communicating with Kylo through the force while he was fighting Rey. She just says his name, Ben, and she dies. Why the hell didn't she die in the last one? You think that getting blown out of a ship and into space would kill you, but no. Just became Superman. She was like, nope. But in this one, she just has a bad feeling, goes to lay down and dies. Oh my God. What else? Palpatine coming back. The only reason they brought him back is literally because they had nothing else. JJ knew they had nothing. No matter what they did, no matter who they put, fans were just gonna be like, dude, that doesn't make sense. Because the reason he came up with is, we have been alluding or planning for Palpatine to come back the whole time. I'm like, no, you brought him back because you had nothing to go on, especially after the crap that Rian Johnson pulled. So it's like, well, might as well bring back the Emperor, have Rey kill him, and retcon everything that Anakin did, which is bullshit. They completely destroyed all of this because the old kill the past if you have to, right? But if you're gonna do that and you make the present shit, what that leaves you with no future. Okay, what else? Luke's ghost coming back. So Rey is about to she goes back to where Luke was in the Last Jedi, and she is about to destroy his lightsaber in the ship that she took from Kylo Ren after their first no, I think that was like their third time fighting, and she throws it into the fire, and Luke's ghost just catches it, and he's like, no, you're gonna need this. This is the Jedi's weapon. Oh my God. Again, retconning the Last Jedi. And he just explains to her like, don't do this. I was wrong. Go help him, or many people are gonna die, and this was all for nothing. Whatever. And then right before she's gonna get off, he uses the Force to bring out his old X-wing from the water, and just gives her a look like, kind of saying, "Go get him, girl." Like, come on, bro. Oh my God. I honestly felt bad for Mark Hamill, just seeing Disney give him, like, just kick him one more time and make sure that his character's dead. What else? There was some sexual tension, I would say, between Rey and Kylo, which I thought was weird. And I know where this came from. This was from the whole Reylo crowd. And okay, the Reylo crowd. They get their payoff at the end. And well, I'll just go into it. At the end, Rey dies after she deflects Palpatine's lightning back at him. And before that, Kylo has been thrown into a hole by Palpatine, so he comes back, crawling back, and he sees Rey dead. He picks her up, uses the Force to bring her back. Which, correct me if I'm wrong, I thought the Sith didn't learn that power because they thought it showed weakness, and it was more of a Jedi thing. Because we saw Rey use like healing powers before in the movie. And so he heals her, she's dead, and he brings her back to life. And she just wakes up, looks at him, says, "Ben?" and kisses him. I can tell you how fast my eyes rolled when I saw that. And doing that, he basically gave his life for her because he just smiles and then just falls just falls back and dies. She's just like just pats him and then just fucks off. Oh my god, come on, bruh. Like what? There's this is also besides ass pull the movie. This is fan service the movie, and trying to please everyone, you ended up pleasing hardly anyone, and you're just gonna have a lot of pissed off people at you. What else? This movie, apart from taking a lot from the original trilogy, also took two pivotal points from Endgame. And what I mean by that? Well, first one, when they're fighting where Palpatine is. All right, don't ask me the name of the planet. I forgot. They're losing. The whole like fleet is losing to a bunch of destroyers, and Poe just says, "Look, I'm sorry, guys. I really thought we had a chance, but there's too many of them. We're getting our asses kicked out here." And then suddenly Lando just comes on his comms and says, "Yeah, but there's more of us." And then you cut to a shot of a whole bunch of ships coming to fight. Does that sound familiar to you? It should. If you saw Endgame, you know what part I'm talking about. This is when Captain America is standing alone against Thanos and his army, and it looks like he's like, I'm gonna fight, but I don't know how much I can take, and more likely he's gonna lose. And then Falcon coming in and saying, "On your left." That's one. The second one is when Palpatine is attacking Rey, and this is right before he dies. And he says, "I am all the Sith." And Rey's right at that point. She only has one lightsaber that's stopping his lightning. She says, "And I am," takes the pause, uses the Force to get the other lightsaber, puts it in the X, and says, "All the Jedi." That is literally copying Iron Man when he responds to Thanos when Thanos says, "I am inevitable." JJ, you do this so much. You take from other media because I don't know if you can come up with something original. These characters, I guess, were original, or maybe they were based on another existing characters from like the comics that apparently are not canon now because Kathleen Kennedy said so. But come on, bro. Like, they didn't even try to hide it. Like, if you see the movie, you immediately pick up on it. And you're like, oh my God. What else? And then the ending. At the end, Rey goes back to Tatooine, where Luke lived, and she buries his lightsaber and Leia's lightsaber, which in itself is another plot hole. And she buries them using the Force, and she takes out her own lightsaber, which is yellow. And some old lady comes out of nowhere and says, there hasn't been anyone here in a long time. Who are you?" She says, "I'm Rey." "Rey who?" And she has a feeling, turns the other way, and sees Luke and Leia just standing there like if they were happy parents. And she's like, "Rey Skywalker." So you just feel like a Skywalker, I guess. Okay. And then she just fucks off with BB-8 and stares at the sunset. Come on, man. This movie was fucking stupid, man. Honestly, I would have probably forgiven it if they made a 2 parts. That would have been fine because they would have had one entire movie to retcon the Last Jedi, and then they would have the second part to build more on this one, and maybe introduce a few other things that might have made more sense. But no, you just get that. That's it. Honestly, I this is not a movie that I'm going to watch again. And the few parts that I've talked about, I literally had to write them down because I've already forgotten most of the movie. It's been several hours since I saw it. What what would I give it? I would probably say a 4 out of 10. That's what I'm gonna give this movie. It it mostly bombed. There were some good aspects of it, but beyond that, it was boring. It was uninspirational, and it just it didn't make sense. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you guys for listening, and I hope to see you in all other future reviews. Bye.